Hello, my devilish paperweights. Sorry guys. Hi everyone. My intro lines kinda overlapped here because today I won't be talking just through one character, but through every single one I have ever made, or at least I can remember making, because today I want to cover like the history of all my OCs over the years, just because I thought this would be an interesting topic for some of you. But firstly, let me clarify what I mean with OCs. OCs are, in this case, just someone that is supposed to resemble me in whatever story universe I was telling at the time. Basically a self-insert. I won't be including, for example, if I have played a video game. Actually, the part about video games isn't quite correct anymore, as the first and probably last one for now will be actually related to video games in some form, but I may mean it more in a way that no original characters that I haven't created will be mentioned, like characters that already exist that are just self-inserts for me. I don't know if it's confusing, but it probably will be more cleared up, like characters that have actual lore that I have created. And before we get into it, at the end of the video, for people that actually care about me specifically and the content I'm making, I have to say something in the end, but because of attention rate I will put it at the end and actually get into the main topic of the video now. So my first ever character ever created was kind of my Minecraft character, my Minecraft skin I randomly found on the marketplace back in the day, or not even the marketplace, I think it was like on some skin creator site, and I picked it, and the was like very edgy and demon themed or something, I'm not sure. I know he had like one black eye and one normal eye, kinda reminds me of Sammy honestly, but I know something happened that the texture of the skin glitched out and he had like white particles all over his body, and I kind of thought this looked cool, and in my head I had some form of like that it's some form of corruption and he's evil and stuff like that. I don't know, 5-year-old Raptor. I wasn't very creative at the time, but I also was playing another game, Pixel Gun. It's a Minecraft themed shooter. It used to be really good, but it fell off hard. But anyways, this game had also like a custom skin feature where you could pixel your own skin, and I recreated the broken version of my skin, and my favorite weapon in the game was like a cool red scythe. I don't know if I have a screenshot of that still, maybe I'll find one on Google, but basically my character at the time was like a demon boy-ish with corrupted textures, and his main weapon was a scythe. Kinda reminds me of a mixture of Sammy and R4 now that I think about it, with the scythe and the demon theme, but like again, there wasn't much to it at the time because I was like 5 years old. Now then there was a few characters that wasn't really related or didn't really have anything going for it. Then I had another big character again, which at that time I was really into parasites, or like parasite creepy stuff, mainly because of Minecraft again. But basically I had a universe with a bunch of different parasites coming from outer space, I think. I really don't remember much of it, but I know my main OC was like a kid that was infected by one of those parasites, but instead of fully transforming, because the kid has some injury on her spine that made her unable to walk, and all the parasites first infect through the spine, so it was like a rare scenario. But this one character was like special, so she could control her own parasite. I don't have any more pictures of her when I originally drew her, but I recreated the drawing once, so I probably put that on screen already. I added a few details like the funny design on her hoodie and the mask, like as an adult now, but otherwise she was kind of an anti-hero and fighting for humanity, but again there wasn't much to it. After her there was like a long down period, but with her there was an interesting trend going on all the OCs I had, and from now on I'm going to have back pain. Why? I don't know. At the time I didn't have scoliosis. Now I have scoliosis and my spine is whatever. But even before that, it was kind of a trend that all my characters used to have back pain. And this trend continues forward with the next character, which actually was very close of becoming my channel mascot at the time. This character was Luzifer, or for short Lucy. Yes, the guy from the funny little book with the cross on it. Around about that time I created a character. I first discovered the Hasbin Hotel pilot, I think, and that's where I got into indie animation. I think before that I have seen the Murder Drones first episode, but I never really watched it completely, but it's something else. Luzifer is kind of based on the concept that Luzifer is supposed to be a fallen angel, so I thought he was basically like sent down to hell. That kind of hurt a lot, so he was like injured and stuff like that, but the powers of hell gave him like powers, and now he's kind of the king of it. The more I speak about it, I just realized Sammy is a modern version of Lucy. Maybe that's why I like Sammy so much right now. But anyways, right around the time I had Luzifer and the entire like hell, I made an entire like concept about hell with different religions and stuff like that. It was very complex and honestly way too much to go. I had like for each of the deadly sins one of the priests, and there was an entire hierarchy and how society worked. This was like I talked a lot about, and I also thought about this having like a series on my channel, how I do with my murder drones one and my FPE one now. And after the first few murder drones edits actually blew up, I thought about having Lucy as my profile picture, but at the time I still didn't like the drawing, like my drawing skills weren't as good, but I still didn't like this one, so I didn't want to show it off, so I just picked N for murder drones, and we all know how it went from there on. Actually, why do I have so many subscribers out there? But yeah, design wise, I really like this one. His main weapon was like, he wasn't really a fighter, so his main weapon was just a knife with some hellish magic stuff, and he's kind of like a mixture out of everything. You have this angel white side-ish with the broken and dirty wing. You can see a lot of the wings, a lot of the feathers are broken. You can see the broken halo just leaking out black liquids, but the devil horns are growing below it. On the other side, there's a very good wing I'm very proud of, and an upside down cross. You can also see he has a bunch of injuries all across his face and body, which is like fixed with dark hellish magic, and now just looking more at it just gives me more and more Sammy vibes. And I think now looking back on this live here, this isn't in my script, but at the time I really liked this character, and I think that's also the reason why now I have like the not FPAU, which I'm also kind of doing the same as I did for my hellish story there. As for the not FPAU, I create a lot of lore and behind the scenes stuff and just a bunch of characters, and the fact that the quote-unquote main characters are like so similar-ish in design, I don't know, it's just something funny. But important difference is Sammy is definitely a bad guy, while Lucy was kind of a anti-villain but mostly good guy in this case. Lastly, before we move on, as a fun fact, he also had 2 wives, but yeah, that's everything in my notes. But after that, we already have the main girl herself, R4, which just barely made the cut as my channel mascot, and the me version of me, which she was in design hell for so long. The reason it's called R4 was originally just because it was the 4th attempt of creating an OC. Originally I had like a blackish theme, then I tried something with toxic, and after some eternity in design hell, finally made R4. You can actually, if you go back to my first video, which you shouldn't do, or maybe you should do, I don't know, you can actually see that I still use the hand-drawn thingies, but it still looked bad in my opinion, until I moved on to digital design, and I could actually make R4 digital, and I thought the PNGs looked really nice, and I actually could use those. Now with how I'm gotten better, the PNGs don't look nice anymore, but I'm still using them because I'm too lazy to redo them. But yeah, I don't need to go much about R4, we all know it. It's the entire it's my channel mascot, I mean, come on. And after R4, there's actually now Sammy, but not the Sammy you all know and hopefully love, but it was the original design of him, which I tell this story a lot, but I didn't really like the design, so I decided to kill him off in the end of the video. But after some time I still wanted to get into the FPE fandom before it started burning, so I kind of revived him and made him in a lot cooler character now through that way. But his original design was kind of a mixture out of everything. That is how I saw people create FPE OCs, and it kind of just felt empty and not like me, and that's the main reason I keep those OCs around, because if I have an OC but I don't feel comfortable with them representing me, this OC doesn't exist for long. That is all I'm saying. So if it ain't feeling comfortable, I remove them. Also, he was really tedious to animate, quote unquote. I don't animate, but like with the lack of the feet, I always had to cut him off, and it was difficult to make stuff. But I mean, we get to Sammy later on again. So next up there is, I don't know, I didn't really figure out the name in time. There was Chibby Reptor or IRL me. I don't know how to call this OC, but basically it was supposed to be like every time I talk about me in real life, I'm not showing myself, but I would show this chibi little guy, and it kind of made him a crybaby, and yeah, that's basically all his personality. But this is by far the closest one to me, actually me in real life, with the curly hair and the jacket I used to wear all the time when I showed myself. But I like the design. It got replaced on by the next one coming up. I just like to say this character also didn't really had one big of a story. It just was supposed, the black and white face was supposed to be like the sensor bar I always put above my head, because I thought it was a cool design choice, but But again, this didn't really feel like me, so I had replaced with something that actually feels more like me. So this is my bunny sona. It was originally just created for Boom Bop's kind of a U story thing as my fan character, but it kinda turned, like, through multiple weird funny coincidences, it turned into basically the IRL version of me. Like, of course it's way further off what I'm actually looking like in real life, but I feel way more comfortable with this than the one I had originally. And plus, Boom Bop made some time ago on my birthday, gifted me a bunch of different drawings of like reaction images for this character, and those reaction images are still my outro to this day, because I really like this outro format, and that was basically the final nail in the coffin for Chibby Reptor. One moment of silence, please. But anyways, to this bed, it doesn't really have a name, it's just me supposed. I always call it my bed sona, because I like how it sounds. And it kinda has this gothic emo vibe, while red isn't really my favorite color, it's purple, but I don't know, I vibe with the red and the whole aesthetic. And also she has like a little bit blood around red liquid on her mouth, which isn't actually red liquid. She's supposed to be a fruit bat, and that's fruit juice. That's just a funny detail I like. Boom Bop made her fluffy. And also, I don't know if I keep this fact, but in Boom Bop's universe, she was to be very small, but I don't know if she's me. That sounds weird, but if she's supposed to be me, she would probably be taller in all of Boom Bop's drawings. She is taller, so she probably will be taller. There are also like way more design opportunities that all keep like the emo clothes. For example, when Boom Bop redesigned her, just in his newer design, he gave her like a hoodie which looks very comfy, and I like comfy clothes, so it's fitting. And he also gives her like an earlier design which looked kind of transparent, which he didn't like, but I said, hey, this looks like a swimsuit, so if I ever have to do a beach episode, this is how I'm going to look like. This is a perfect clip for Raptor Out of Context compilation, just saying. So yeah, this character is a bit controversial for me personally, because she is kind of replacing R4 right now, not intentionally, but like with the combination of circumstances, it's kind of the case. On one hand, I like it because I very much like the character and it feels comfy to be represented by her, but on the other hand, like she would be replacing my main girl R4, and I can't do that, like Now we have Sammy, the redesign, the rework. At the beginning, Sammy, the rework was kind of like, yeah, I just want to revive him. Then I thought like, hey, it isn't even that bad. Come on, let's add some story to it. And if you go now to my channel, there's the entire playlist how I have first started as an FPE AU, then kind of separated it from FPE, and now it's become kind of the main series on my channel. I say something about the fact that I just called it a main series in the end. In the more personal news part I said in the beginning, but like I could give a recap of Sammy's character and stuff, but like there is an entire series on my channel, so I couldn't do this in less than, how long is this video already? I don't know. But I feel comfortable with Sammy representing me in some way, as like he is very much his own character, but like I like him a lot because he has like this perfect mixture out of funny, coolness, and also depressing, which him being this depressing makes my life in comparison look much better to my POV as a creator. So I very much do enjoy having him around and do different stuffs, as he's kind of the perfect combination out of me wanting to make comedy with the crybaby character of the GB me, if you remember, and also me wanting to be cool, R4, and me wanting to be comfortable in a character, because Sammy is like, I mean, even though he's a shapeshifter, he looks like a boy most of the time, sometimes, okay, not really. But you get my point. Next up. Or better to say last up actually, as I mentioned, I want to include one video game character at the ending, which is also my newest and most likely will not stay, but maybe, and is also very inconsistent. But I recently made like a dub of one of the Forsaken comics I made with my own character. Basically this character is my OC version of John Doe. I don't have the time to explain Forsaken Slope right now, but basically I want to create a few more comics, and of course I have the FPE ones, but I have a few funny ideas I want to do for Forsaken, but I don't know, I want to also put an original twist on it, just because that's how I am. And for that, my newest character, which is actually my old Roblox main avatar I used to always play. It's all made of free UGC items or stuff I got Robux presents from other friends. But now that I'm old enough, I allowed myself to purchase actually some Robux for me. Just one time. I don't encourage buying those stuff, at least at the moment. And although I have a new avatar, I still kinda like the story of this one. I used the Yourself John Doe skin as the combination with this one, and also the Yourself one act, but mainly the Mr. Doe one, because in my AU there's kinda, if I ever make more of this, maybe not, I just like the characters, but this character is basically the entity that patrols the entrance to the Forsaken Realm and has like two forms. One is the 1X form, which is more active and aggressive and stuff, and one is like the passive form that is just a guardian. So if he's actively in the trials, he kind of takes a more powered up appearance, and if he's just guarding so that nothing can go inside or outside of the Forsaken Realm. I probably don't have much to talk about, but I maybe do more comics over the future eventually, so I can tell more about this kind of idea I had. But I speak a lot about the future, and this is also kind of the end of the normal video. And now to the important thing I really want to mention. I have like right now 2 more days, I think, at the release of this video, maybe even less, as I still need to edit all this footage, so I want to keep it quick. But in the future I have a lot of things coming up with, now that I have graduated school, I have a lot of real life things that changes, a lot of schedule changes, and I don't know how much videos I will produce still. I'm not saying I'm stopping, but I also not say I can continue right now, so I have to see how it looks. And also, like, some have seen that I have posted less and less Myrmidons content of my own thing and more FPE ones, just mainly because the FPE ones is a bit newer and also way more original. Also a big reason is that while my Myrmidon story is like one continuous line of story, my kind of story writing is a bit that I like to do random stuff in between, and it's difficult with one continuous line. But my FPE story is just a big tree. I can add everything everywhere and it still would fit kinda, but it still has a top of the tree where the story basically ends when all the villains are defeated at some point maybe, but it means I still can work with it. But the thing mainly now is like, when I do R4 stuff or with Luz, I'm usually in a very good place mentally and I enjoy doing this quite a lot. But recently I like playing around with the FPE characters, as some of them are actually really cute and have enjoyable lives, but most of them have some form of miserable existence, especially Sammy. And I said I'm picking my character that represents me based on how comfortable I feel and based on how much stress lately I had. That's why I mostly have been doing FPE. I'm not moving on I'm kinda moving on from Myrmidons, but like temporarily at least. But like, I am really uncertain of what the future will bring and how much I still can produce. I still want to do shorts, I still want to maybe work on videos and also have a few series that I can continue probably. The thing is, I don't know if I can even draw for the next like 3 weeks or something. So while I will try bringing out content, I can't promise anything whatsoever because I have at myself no clue. I am rushing this video out. This isn't as high quality as you used to know, but I hope you still enjoyed, and we will see us again whenever we were going to see us, as I can't really give a date. But if you want to get updated as soon as I'm able to post again, go and subscribe and maybe look in the community tab to stay up to date once I'm coming back, when I'm going back, if I'm coming back. I don't know. Have a great day, and remember to drink water once in a while. Hydration is important.